Thank you all. First of all, thank you, Admiral Rogers. We count ourselves very lucky to have you in charge here, and we count ourselves very, very lucky to have each and every one of you I see in front of me. I've been learning some today about getting really updated on the development of cybercom and also NSA, the two magnificent institutions.
So what I wanted to see is if you could give me a yes or no answer to the question, does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
Britain's Guardian newspaper obtained a copy of a secret court order authorizing the data collection. The document shows the information is being collected indiscriminately and in bulk. Major Garrett is at the White House. Major, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nora and Charlie. Confirmation this morning from the Obama administration that surveillance powers, sometimes sweeping, sometimes indiscriminate, authored after 9/11.
They were... What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing. Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here. Oops, this photo wasn't supposed to be in here. This is a Skull and Bone secret signal. I like this next picture a lot. It's photos like these that mean the most to me.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
Carried out by the Bush administration are now being carried out, possibly with more vigor, by this administration.
That should tell you something about how vital the mission is that you all have taken on. Cyberspace is presenting us with some of the most profound challenges.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war. I'll be very blunt in my assessment. And unfortunately, we are paying a big price for it. And our private media cannot fill that gap. In fact, our private media, particularly cultural programming, often works at counter purposes to what we truly are as Americans and what our values are. Our private media, particularly cultural programming,
The President had a cybersecurity summit a few weeks ago, in which you could see that our national leadership at every level is really seized with the need to get on top of this problem.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
And that means we need to build bridges to society, bridges that aren't as necessary in other fields of warfare that don't have a civilian or a commercial counterpart to the extent that this field does. But we need to be open to new ideas. We need to be open to people. We can't always tell them what we're doing, but we need to be open enough with our government so that it knows what it's doing, so that its officials can in turn to our people and say, I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. You wouldn't want me to tell you everything.
The National Security Agency is keeping track of the telephone records of millions of Americans.
But you should trust that your senior officials and your elected officials and so forth are acting on your behalf. And I think we do have that trust.
I've told my administration, we're going to look every single day to figure out what we can do without Congress.
Let me make one last point, and this is something that you all know, but it's important to remind our fellow citizens, and for that matter, the rest of the world. And that is, we build our cyber mission force as the kind of country we are to defend the openness of cyberspace, to keep it free.
Oops, this photo wasn't supposed to be in here. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal.
Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems. They'll warn that tyranny is always lurking just around the corner. You should reject these voices.